president of Mkhonto weSizwe. That is what was said. That all the work that we're doing as Secretary General of establishing structures and identifying leaders was meant ultimately at the removal of President Zuma as president of Mkhonto weSizwe. And as part of that reasoning, an extremely bizarre and fake intelligence report was produced, which was claimed to be a conversation between me and some people in the African continent, where it is alleged that despite raising money to remove President Zuma, I'm also accumulating supernatural powers to make people disappear. That is the reason why we got to, so we had to deal with superstitious issues as the basis of what happens that there's apparently a head which I was going to be given to give to someone, and some people were going to die so that I can become president of Mkhonto weSizwe. That was the intelligence report which were rejected with contempt and said that that is absolute rubbish, and said that if anyone claims to have my WhatsApp conversations, I can hand over my phone. I even offered in the meeting that take my phone and check not only the messages that you claim were about the removal of President Zuma, also check any other message about anything that I communicate as a leader of Mkhonto weSizwe. Because there's a principle which I always uphold, that there is nothing that I do privately that I cannot own up publicly. Nothing, including personal relations. There's nothing that I will ever do privately which we cannot own up publicly. And we accepted the redeployment to Parliament with those misgivings that we're going to make people disappear in order to take over the leadership of Mkhonto weSizwe. And in a subsequent meeting post that another fake report was presented which claims to be WhatsApp conversations between me and someone else, where I'm reported to be saying that, yeah, I'm going to use Parliament now to take over the party. And I've got money from Stellenbosch who are going to take over the party through Parliament. They are taking me closer to where we're going to take power. And as a result, a decision was taken which was not yet communicated, that even this thing of Parliament must not happen. In fact, the former Secretary General, which is myself, must be expelled from the organization. A letter was written and was put in the briefcase of the president, who said that he's going to dispatch it as and when he feels like to discontinue my membership of Mkhonto weSizwe. Those are actual facts in terms of the reason. And where does this come from? So the president of Mkhonto weSizwe, whom I dearly and so deeply respect, is surrounded by political scoundrels who opportunistically use his kindness, sometimes gullibility that comes with age, to write down fake intelligence report to influence him towards wrong directions. And the reason they do that is because they want to steal money from Mkhonto weSizwe. And they are doing so now. Withdrawal of not less than 7 million rand every month from the organizational coffers. That is what defined, and that is what, and we're talking about this because we raised it internally, that stop what you are doing, because you're going to get the party deregistered as a political party, because there's no sound reason on what has been happening, and it's things that we can prove beyond any reasonable doubt, not because it's things that we can change, and it's things that you cannot fake. And for that reason, when we raise, every TG who has ever raised that got to be removed as leadership of Mkhonto weSizwe. And there's no TG who has resigned as Mkhonto weSizwe. All of them were refused, were removed to then deal with scoundrels who surround President Zuma to steal money of the organization. I carried my responsibilities as a leader of Mkhonto weSizwe with utmost respect and respected everyone. led with the collective the process of drafting the constitution and other foundational documents of the organization, set up structures as part of a collective effort, got to institutionalize the MK Women's League, the Youth League, the Students' Movement, the MK Interreligious Movement, which in the past used to exist as separate organizations of the South African Interfaith Religious Council, MK Religious Desk, Abela Pibe Ndabuko, and various other organizations, interfaith, and then we got to unite them to have one organization. We got to even have to formalize the relations between Umkhonto weSizwe and the Progressive Civic Congress, and formalize the relationship with MK and MK professionals, and MK medics. So there's a lot of commendable work which was done by MK medics, a group of medical doctors and health practitioners who were going to communities to offer healthcare services. And in the process of doing that, every day, the political scoundrels work endlessly to speak negatively about the work that we're doing. I was saying, actually, I said it in the national officials meeting, because we can't hold that meeting in private, even when people are talking now, that in December 2024, there was a statement written to remove me as the Secretary General on the basis that I'm about to announce a political party with Togo Zuhwale and Lindo Zisulu, whom I have never spoken to about anything. Draft statement then was even shared with me that remove him today because he is going to form a political party. And that is full-time work that is dedicated on everything that you do. When you sit down, it's a problem. When you stand up, it's a problem. When you go out, it's a problem. When you come in, it's a problem every day. Because those who surround him have got evil intentions in terms of what got to happen. I've got tremendous respect for President Zuma. I think that in the few close working relationship that we've got to maintain and work with now, I think I've learned more in the 6 months than I learned in the 10 years I was Deputy President of Umkhonto weSizwe, of the EFF. I learned more as a member of Umkhonto weSizwe than I learned as a Deputy President of the EFF. In terms of real politics and appreciation of both the domestic and the global politics, much more thoroughly in terms of the issues, and under no circumstances would I ever fault President Zuma and his politics. I joined Umkhonto weSizwe because I thought that as part of the political historiography of South Africa, his politics and character should be protected and a legacy built around his proper politics, not the ones of gullibility and the producing of fake intelligence report. Since the decision to remove ourselves as Secretary General took place, there have been a lot of ordinary South Africans from all corners of the country. There have been a lot of comrades who came from Umkhonto weSizwe, from the ANC, from the EFF, to say, what then do we do moving forward? Because I did explain to them what were the developments. And a substantial number of those say that don't ever try to join the ANC, and I fully agree with them. That will never join the ANC. It's directionless, it doesn't know what it's doing, it's in collaboration with the white system now. And that there are those who say don't ever join or rejoin the economic freedom fighters because it's a cult, and I agree with them. There is no space for sound ideological reasoning, and there's no self-respecting person who can join both the ANC and the EFF. I agree with that fully. And that those who said that these fundamental weaknesses with Umkhonto weSizwe, that the organization seems to be run by a family and seems to be inconsistent on issues of discipline, seems to be directionless and sometimes takes conservative and reactionary positions. I say that part of the reasons why we joined Umkhonto is we could observe from far that we can allow in South Africa a political organization that can become a tribalist and regional organization with such influence. Instead of throwing insults at MK, we have to play a role in contributing to its ideological character and politics and direction. And I think that we did successfully in terms of what happened. Now, these several observations about the organization of Umkhonto Sizwe, some are correct, some I will reserve my observations on because I can't abuse the fact that I occupied a very senior role and had access to almost every development that happens there. But those who want to hear my views privately, we can speak about that, but I'll never abuse the fact that there's a role that we played. I did that when I left the EFF, that I said I will never speak bad about the EFF when I was MK, and I never did. And I'll never speak bad about the MK. I'll never demonize its perspective. But also of those who came, there are those who said that we should form a political party or a political movement to contest the 2026 and 2029 elections. My view about the formation of a political party is that a political party must never be founded by an individual. My prompt response to the first number of people who came was that let us not form a political party, let us fight within the existing political parties. But that if we were to form a political party, let us go to the people of South Africa and ask them if they want to have a political party. We can't form a political party as a group of friends and as few individuals. So a political party should never be an individual project where you feel like, no, I want to start a political party and then you start it. It must never be a family project. It's very dangerous to have political parties which are family run. A political party must not be a tribal or ethnic project. In South Africa today, a political party must not be regional, must not even be a provincial party. A political party must not be a platform for self-enrichment. It must not be a fiefdom. It must not be a cult. If anything, a political party should be a fighting instrument and vehicle for the people of South Africa, must deeply espouse the principles of democracy and democratic consultations in terms of how decisions are taken, must be transparent and must be accountable in the work that it does. So to the comrades that came to say let us form a political party, we said that we can't take that decision. Let us subject that process to the people of South Africa. So we're here today to announce that we're going to be convening the process of consulting the people of South Africa on the formation of a political movement that will be a true representative of the people of South Africa, and not a personal project, and not a group of friends project, not a cult, and not a fiefdom. So over the next few months, we will be consulting all the traditional leaders, we will be consulting all the church leaders, religious leaders in different institutions. We will be seeking the views and opinions of all the manifestations of the Zion Christian Church, of the Nazareth Baptist Church, of the IPCC, of the 12 Apostle Church in Christ, of the 12 Apostle Church in Trinity, of the Bantu Church of Christ, and all the charismatic churches. We will be seeking opinions as well of prominent leaders of society and the people that we have access to. Pastors Matebula, Pastor Archbishop Zondo, Malumani Musasono, Gate Kosa, Pastor Bishop Don Phillips. We will be seeking the wisdom of prominent South Africans, inclusive of Dr. Ivan Koza, of Dr. Patrice Mutsipi, of Dr. Keza Mtaung, of Dr. Michael Mpuna. We will be seeking opinions of different sectors of society as to, is there a need to form a political party? That is the first question that we're going to ask. That if yes, what should be the values and principles of that political party? And what should distinguish that political party from the existing political parties? So those are the questions that we're going to be asking. We're also going to ask as to how should that political party be funded? So those are the questions that we're going to be asking different communities and constituencies across South Africa. It's not the first time that I'm engaged in a process similar to what we're going to be dealing with now. When I was a leader of the ANC Youth League, having spent 5 years in the national leadership of the ANC Youth League, and strongly believed that time that there was a suppression of the struggle for economic freedom in our lifetime. I began in 2012, when I was still a member of the ANC, to publicly write that perhaps the struggle for economic freedom in our lifetime should exist as a separate organization outside of the ANC. And then in March of 2013, I wrote a perspective as to why a political party should be founded. And that perspective is within the founding manifesto of the economic freedom fighters. And everyone else who came after that perspective joined that perspective and believed as to what we got to do. And of course, we got to discontinue our association with the EFF for various reasons, which if some were to speak about publicly, will cause collateral damages to families, to households, to people, because it will also speak to character and some of the things that are not worth speaking about publicly. So we will be going to all the people of South Africa to consult in all the regions of South Africa. In KwaZulu-Natal, we're going to be going to Mkanyaku, there to Zululand, to Ilembe, to Ugu, to eThekwini, Amajuba, Mzinyathi, Tugela, Mgumbundlovu, to Kintetwayo, to Herugwana. In the Eastern Cape, we're going to start here in Jokabe region and go to Komani and Chris Hani. We're going to go to OR Tambo in Mtata, to Alfred Nzo. In Mount Frere, we'll go to speak to the people of Amatole, one of the poorest districts in the Eastern Cape, which includes Mbashe, Musha, and Mnguma. We're going to speak to the people of Buffalo City, who are still having and confronted by lots of developmental challenges in Duncan Village and all the areas. We're going to be speaking to the people of Sarah Bartman, one of the neglected areas of the Eastern Cape, municipalities of Blue Crane, with a small town called Cook House, of the people of Sandys River Valley, of Dlambe. We're going to be speaking to the people of Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality. In the Northwest Province, we're going to be consulting with the municipalities which are named after the doctors of Ngaka Muturu Mulema, of Dr. Ruth Sukhumutsu Mumpati, of Dr. KK Kaunda, of Bojanala. We'll be speaking to all the people of the Northern Cape, in Francis Bard, in one of the most underdeveloped regions of Pixley Kaseme. We're going to be speaking to ZF Mkau, members to Namaka, to the communities of John Taole, Haitiwe region, which is still facing a lot of super exploitation by those who are operating the mineral resources. Here in Gauteng province, we are going to be speaking to the people of Johannesburg, of course, to the dysfunctional municipality. We're going to be speaking to the people of Ekurhuleni and people of Sidibing, of West Rand, of Tshwane. In the Free State, we're going to be speaking to the people of Ezilitabi, of Lujoleputsa, of Mangaung, of Mufutsayana, of Karib. All the 3 municipalities of Karib are dysfunctional. We're going to be speaking to the people of the Western Cape, in Cape Metro, in Southern Cape, in Cape Winelands, in West Coast, in Central Karoo and Overberg. Itaba yakaya volabula na vanhu vele Limpopo vele kaya. Tihosi hinkwati vulavula na tona na va tikereke kusukisela le amusina ku ya fika la Waterberg. Hinkwavo hi ta va kha hi vulavula na vona ka Giyani ka Malamulele. Hinkwavo ka vona hi ta va kha hi vulavula na vona hi ku xana hi fanele hi sungula political party ke na loko hi sungula hi fanele hi yimela yini political party yaleyo. Hi leswi hi nga ta va kha hi endla swona through the length and breadth of South Africa. I'm not talking about all these areas because I read them elsewhere. There's no area in South Africa where I have not done political work. None. Not as a political tourist. As a person who went to do political work, I know and have been familiar with the dynamics of each and every district of this country and have done political work in all corners of this country. In Mpumalanga, I forgot to speak about in Mpumalanga. I've worked in Mpumalanga for the longest time. In Hlanzeni, in Bushbuck Ridge, Tawachewu, Mbombela, and Nkomazi, 4 municipalities. And Kangala, we are going to have deeper consultation in the district that is named after Herr Shadrach Sibande. We're going to we're going to take up the spear that was left by Treasure Tabete in Mkondo and fight the battles of the people of Mkondo, of Dipalesing, of all the municipalities of Hertzband. So ladies and gentlemen, the people of South Africa, we are here today to announce a process that is going to speak to all the people of South Africa with the aim of establishing a political party if the people of South Africa say we should do so. We do not want to do that as a personal project or as a group of friends project. It must be a party that is owned by the people of South Africa. So that is basically what we had called this press conference to communicate, and we will be going to the ground to speak to the people. We'll be talking to young people via social media platforms and other media platforms. Will provide platforms as to how the engagements are going to happen. We are going to next week announce the leadership core that is going to be responsible for the consultation process, and that leadership will be coming from all the provinces of South Africa, will be properly gender balanced and not just a group of men or boys. It will be combination of different skills and capacities so that we're able to listen much more attentively to all the people of South Africa. We thank you very much for having attended this otherwise intimate briefing.